What is up, YouTube? It's Pastor Bob. Well, here we go. This makes, should I say? Oh, good God. How's everybody doing today? So, Larry Carlton, Sire. Let me tell you a little story about these guitars. So, I haven't said anything, and I think this is the absolute optimum time to get this out. So, everybody's been whirling about these guitars, and I'm going to tell you a little story, and I'm going to make it short and sweet. They're not all that. Oh, they might sound good, and oh, you might get a good one, but I'm going to tell you, I have fixed about, I don't know, let me think. Offhand, I know I've done at least 7 of these guitars. That's one guy, me. 7 guitars that I have fixed with multiple issues, right? 2 of them, prior to this one, were twisted necks, right? A couple of them, 3 of them, I can remember 3 of them offhand had bad neck joints, right? So the neck joints, something was it wasn't cut flat, right? So when your neck goes into your neck joint, it wasn't cut flat. Unevenly cut access panels. I mean, there's been all kinds of stuff. Bridge placements were not placed properly. So I don't know what was going on with them, to be honest with you. But you know, it takes time to fix those things and then get them back to people. So this time I said, let me buy another one so people understand that this happens. Nobody's talking about it. So I just want to show you, even on the end cap, what it says. Neck is twisted, right? Used. Hot. Well, they have to mark it used, right? Because it ain't new. And that's something different. So I was glad that they put that on there. Anyway, so that you guys understand these things, not going to buy these thinking that, oh, they're the greatest things since Swiss cheese and everything's perfect on them. Because I'm here to tell you that doesn't seem to be the case. So, believe it or not, this is an actual brand new guitar. Somebody got it, the neck was twisted. Now let's say, why do necks get twisted? I'm sure the comment section will eat that one up. Why do necks get twisted? Well, there's a couple of reasons. But the most the most predominant reason for them twisting is they didn't give the neck enough time to cure properly. One thing that you can learn from a lot of luthiers is you have to do a little bit on the neck, let it rest. Do a little bit on the neck, let it rest. Do a little bit on the neck, let it rest. You got to do this over time. That's why the process of making a good guitar takes a long time. It isn't just throwing it in a dry kennel, bringing it down to, whatever they bring it down to. Some people bring it down to 5%, and then they let the wood sit out until it stabilizes back into the room. I think Paul Reed Smith might do that. But everybody has different reasons. Now, when you roast the neck, it's not as predominant that it happens. But it still can happen, right? So when you're working a neck, when you're making a neck, you got to give the neck time to adjust and move and do whatever it's going to do. Because wood is funky. It's freaky, right? It's going to do what it's going to do. And, there's a lot of uncertainty when you're working a neck. I mean, I've had necks twist on me. Oh, I ain't going to worry about it now. I'm just, worked it like 2 or 3 times and thought everything was cool and said, I don't need to let it rest anymore. Yeah. And then it twists on you. So, one thing about necks, they can be the ultimate headache. And anybody that makes a neck by hand, not no machine, not no CNC, not all these la. I'm talking about making a neck by hand. Now, I think I've showed a video on my channel of me making a neck. And if no one's seen it, maybe I'll do another one next year of me hand carving a neck. Okay? So, anyway, that's enough about the necks. Now, this, you would think that, okay, well, when a neck is roasted, right? After it's roasted and it sits, they're going to rework it, right? So, it shouldn't move. Well, that's not always the case. And how you know that is because this guitar has a roasted neck. Am I on my soapbox today? Well, I am because, all you hear is the good things about these Sire Larry Carlton guitars, right? And it may be a fact that there are a lot of good ones. But you got to also talk about the bad. And you got to put some of the bad stuff out there. Because if you don't, people are always going to think they're the fluffiest fluff in the whole fluffy world. Well, I hate to tell you, but it's not how it works. Now, we're going to take a peek at this bad boy. And it probably doesn't take a rocket scientist to look down that neck and see what's going on. But I don't think this one has a twisted neck. What I think is this one has a bad nut cut right here. Because if you look down the sides, and they take you down here, and you look straight on, look at the way that nut is. Just look at the nut. So, that's what I think it is. Let's look at something here. Let's check some things out, right? I mean, that's what we do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Well, I don't see any light under there. Let's check this baby out over here. Oh, I don't see any light there. So, I'm going to have to take this neck off and take a quicker peek at it. But I think the problem here is this nut. The way this is cut. The slot. That's what I think. I think if I can take this out and put a new nut in there, I think that might solve the problem. Because guys, really, I mean, looking at it, I don't think this one here has that issue. I'm not seeing it. I am not seeing it. So, I'll have to take the neck off, because this is a roasted neck. It really just kind of amazes me when these twist. I've seen them twist, but it's not as frequent. And that's why they roast the neck. It's not for just the color, guys. It's to stabilize the neck. You know, there's a resting period. These companies know that, right? I'm sure this is made in, as you can see. So, beautiful guitars. They are. I'm not saying that. I'm not taking that away from Sire guitars. I play some of them and they play really good. The ones that are good. But I've also ran, like I said, across some twists. Now, this isn't my, this isn't a good example of a twisted neck. I could tell you that. A good example of a twisted neck is where you see this side's flat and then you can see the dip, right? Or you can see the dip on the other side. I don't see that. What I think it is this nut. That's what I think it is. So, I will in another video address. I will address this, and in another video we'll see if I was right. But there's other things that I do. I'll take straight edges and I'll put straight edges on it, and I'll make something flat, and then I'll measure the distance, you know, in 5 different spots on the neck. I'll take the neck off and I'll look at it. And then you measure the pocket, because like I said, I've had these pockets not right. And I have to measure the pocket and measure the distance on the left side and measure the distance on the right side to make sure that that's correct. Because if you notice, this pocket is on an angle, right? Do you see that? You see that pocket's on an angle? See how that's cut? And sometimes they don't get this right. And if one side's higher than the other, then it'll throw it off. So because this is a double bevel, the neck's cut on one way, and then it's tricky. It's a tricky situation there. So I'll have to measure that all out too. So these are the things, if you're going to get into repairing these, they're a little more complicated and it takes a little more skill. Alright? That's why I was talking to you before I even pulled it out about the neck pocket. Because when you want to cut, how you do it, if you look, there's an angle here, right? See how they cut this in? Well, it could easily be that this angle's off too, up here. Sometimes, you know, one side or the other's pushed up. Happens, I've seen it. I've had to repair it. So, I'm just letting you know. Do they make good guitars, Sire? Sure. Do they have crap ones? Yes. Do people talk a lot about it? No. Is that why I wanted to do a video? Yes. Why? Because I just think it's important that you know what's going on. Now, here's the thing. When you're dealing with this, which they did a really good job, I like how these are graduated here. You see how these are graduated? Your machine heads for your brake angle. See if I can go there. But, like I said, trying to do too much to a guitar sometimes, in a technical aspect, can throw things off. And, you know, it's easier to get one side higher than the other, right? And then the same thing goes with this nut, because if that's off down there and you cut this nut a certain way, then it's going to throw it. In other words, I'm sure that you understand that if one's angled one way and one's angled the other way, then it's going to throw the whole neck off. And it might not be the neck that's bad. It might just be that the pocket's off, like I found on one of the other ones. Actually, a couple of the other ones. These neck pockets, I don't know if the CNC machine was off or what was going on. So, and then when you throw that off and then you cut the nut for how the stand is supposed to be, it'll throw the whole thing off. I'm just enlightening you with some information that I've learned from fixing these. Otherwise, I mean, they're well made. They have a nice 3 brass saddle, compensated, so makes it a lot easier to keep it intonated, right? 3-way blade. Well, that's pretty loose, huh? Diamond tone. Abalone inline. I think, you know, here's my thing. I think that, and you could tell it's a brand new guitar. I think doing all this, you know, easy access stuff and all that, look, it's a great idea, but you better have it spot on. Everything. Spot on every time. Because if not, you're going to have these issues. You know, locking tuners, great idea. These are all high-end appointments. Now, these guitars, they sell for, because this is a T7, I think they sell for somewhere between $600 and $700 plus tax, plus shipping, you know. Unless you're getting it from a place like maybe Sweetwater or something like that, then you probably, you know, get free shipping. But, you know, we'll say $700, $650, $700. You know, the machine better be ready to go, and I'm sure that the person was upset, you know. I mean, look at the way this is. How that's off. I can tell you, without even measuring, well, I could measure it, I suppose. Let's see, just to show you. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. See if I can do it. Yeah, we can do it here. Okay. So let's take a little peeky there. Oops, let me pull that paperback. Paperback Rider. Alright. Okay, it's got that. Now, look over here. It's much wider over there. See it? I mean, you guys could probably see it without me doing that. So, yeah. We couldn't have made that even for $700. I mean, I'm just saying, $700, $700, right? I'm just saying. So, something tells me, from my experience, that nut, something's wrong with that nut. Definitely. I think something's wrong with that nut. I wonder. not off much. This is not cut straight. So I have to figure out, I'll have to take a measurement from the tail of the neck of the top of the fretboard, and I'll measure all the way down the back side to this point, and I'll do the same thing on this side, right? To see if it's the nut is on an angle like that and was placed wrong, or the guy that was supposed to be finishing this neck off didn't finish the neck off squared up with a nut slot, because that can throw everything off too. It can't account for the way that goes left or right, or sits in the pocket too high one way or too low on the other way, and then that down there sitting too high one way and too low the other way can make it seem like the neck is twisted, but then again the neck isn't twisted. This is what happens. So I'm just giving you guys some pointers. Okay. Now, am I mad? I'm not mad at all about having this guitar for the price I paid. That I'm going to tell you. So I got it for less than half of what the retail price is. I am not mad at all, because this is a brand new guitar. I mean, if it's what I think it is, one of these things, it won't take me very long to fix the problem. 3 hours maybe, something like that. But here's the case. If I find a deficiency in the neck, well, there's another route we can take. And you say, well, what is that? Well, I can easily take all the stuff off, take this fretboard off of here, right? That's a fretboard on there. Take that fretboard off of that bottom piece. Chop this off. No, I'm just telling you in advance what you can do. Chop this off. Put it on a new hunk of wood. Work a new hunk of wood to where it fits in that pocket good. And that's it. Have another brand new neck. Because 9 times, I'll tell you right now. Here's the thing. You could take the fretboard out, right? And just rework the bottom part. Headstock, that's not a problem. You just scab that headstock onto a new piece of wood. Now, that's going to take a while, but you can still do it. And now all you're doing is trying to color match, your neck. It's not that difficult. I say that because I've been doing it a long time. And when it comes to necks, I know a lot about them. Because if you ever want to be a luthier, a guitar builder, look, that's where it's at. I have failed on a lot of necks. At least 30 necks have I screwed up in my life. So, I'm telling you from experience, necks are tricky. And once you start to learn about how they're formed, right? How they're pieced, how they're, what size fret you put in, the thickness of the fretboard, where it meets the pocket, how far in does it go into the pocket, all of these things. It's easier to understand, where it's going wrong. That's why the first thing I did was look down there and see what I could see. And when I'm looking at the fretboard, what I'm seeing is it looks like this nut's bad. So, I don't know until I get into it a little further. But that's what I'm thinking. It's either that nut, or definitely that pocket, because I've ran across the pocket issue before. but I'm going to have to take some measurements. This side here, right? I mean, I suppose I can take a... What do I do with that thing? Take that gauge. So let's take a peek. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a peeky. I can't see nothing. Oh, I don't have my other light on. Let me move this back here a little bit so I can see better. Let me turn this around. Take a peek. I'll tell you what, it looks pretty close to me. I don't think it's the pocket. So, where we're at is I think it's this damn nut. So, and it just kind of looks funky there. I'm sure you all can agree with that. I mean, not kinda, it does. So, what I'm going to do is take strings off, blah, 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 you know. I'll look at the neck, check the neck all out. Check the top and the back, measure the calipers to make sure that everything is correctamungo. I'll sit it flat, and then I use this. This is going to blow your mind. I'm sure you've seen people use these, right? Neck contours and stuff like that, right? Neck contour gauge. And then I'll lay this flat. Once I put this in my jig out in the shop, and I'll put it here, and then I'll put it back there, and then I'll put it in the middle, and I'll see the contour. And what I do is I take the contour here, right, because I know the angle is flat on the heel and flat on this. So this and that down there should be flat. They should be even with one another. Now, if the very top of the neck is twisted, which very well could be, this could be contoured off a little bit. There's a few things that you have to check when you check and twist. The twist doesn't necessarily have to be from the nut down to the base of the fretboard. It could be right up here too. Right at your headstock. It could twist. And that's a good possibility. So that's another thing I'm going to have to check. But otherwise, is it a good deal? Sure. You know what the easiest way to do this is? You get a replacement neck, throw it on there, and call her a day. That's it. That's the easy fix. At what I paid, I could just order a neck. I don't even have to make the neck. Make it easy. It's just cheaper for me to spend $120 and put a nice neck on it. Done. That's it. Plain and simple. But that defeats the purpose. This is not, a family or friends guitar, you know, or a friend of my friend that asked me if I would take a look at it and try to fix it for him. That's not the case. It's my guitar. So I could easily just put a different neck on it and sing Kumbaya. But I always like to check it out, because sometimes it could be something as simple as that nut being off, or this pocket down here being cut wrong. So I'm going to check it out, see what I come up with, and then probably sometime next year I'll do another video, and we'll see where we're at, and if I fixed it. Well, not if I fixed it, how I went about fixing it. All right, guys, take care. Sorry for the long video. God bless. If I don't hear from you, well, get to talk to you guys or do any videos before Christmas, I do wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't see you. I may be getting on before New Year's. Sometimes I do that. We can chit-chat if you're around, you have nothing to do, you're bored, you're all cocked up, you need somebody to talk to. That generally happens with me being a pastor, right? But if not, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope that your families are safe during this holiday season. Put the think cap on. Guys, it ain't worth it. Drinking and driving ain't worth it. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not worth it. I know that we all, even me in my past, I had my Yahoo hat, and I used to pound the beers and, smoke the bones and yeehaw, right? But, going out there on the road with the weather conditions the way they are and mass amounts of people out there, look, man, once you take somebody's life, there ain't no turning back because of your ignorance. So think about that. Stay at home. It's easier to pick yourself up or low crawl back in the house when you're at home. Go out there and cause an accident, take somebody's life, and live the rest of your life in regret of being dumb. So please think about it. All right, guys, take care. God bless. Pastor Bob, and I'm out of here.